position. You learn that you will 9 times out of 10 have less strength than a male, but you also learn that with repetition, by training speed, accuracy, technique, and learning to develop power, you can defend yourself and spar with the guys. And with that being said, my father trained me a bit differently. He made it very clear that I'm female and I'm small. If I develop my technique and my speed and my awareness, I can be equipped with the right tools to defend myself if that time came. My training and what I want to show you guys today is going to be very based on real life. Today I will not sugarcoat you, because in reality, women's self-defense is about survival. This is not about coming out of this class feeling like you can beat somebody up. Let alone possibly a drunk, drugged, aggressive, 250-pound, 6-foot male. So with that being said, I'm excited to get started and teach you a little bit of what I grew up learning and still continue to train today. Intricacies that people can have that is off, right? And that time, that awareness can mean a couple of seconds of time saved, and those could be the seconds that save your life. Before we start today, I want to show you a video, but before I do that, I do want to say that this video is very graphic, unsettling, and can be triggering. I understand that I could have survivors in the room today, so I want to give a warning prior to starting this video.
When an unknown man comes up from behind and out of nowhere strikes one of them in the face, he turns, punching a second woman, knocking her down before going in for another hit. When the third woman tries to stop him, he pins her against a wall and starts swinging until she stumbles backward onto the sidewalk.
Suspect coming up behind and hitting the woman in the back of the head, knocking her to the ground. Running off with her backpack as well. Police say she had a bad head injury, but that she refused medical treatment. The victim's stolen backpack had several items in it, including her laptop.
This morning, the Asian American community celebrating the swift arrest of this man.
See the man pretty well, actually. Let's walk you through it. The LA County Sheriff's Department released a video today in hopes that someone recognizes the shirtless man. You see, once he's out of his SUV, he casually walks up to the unsuspecting victim, that woman pumping gas when suddenly she's attacked. You can see the man knocks her to the ground and then repeatedly hits her. She falls out of sight from the security camera. Investigators say the attacker, though, grabs the woman's hair and repeatedly slams her head into the car and on the ground. The attack lasts about 30 seconds, and by that time, bystanders begin to approach the suspect and the victim. One man is even seen walking with the suspect as he goes back to his SUV.
James King, seen in a pink t-shirt, walks in. Once he sees that there are no other passengers is when he returns and immediately begins pummeling Puerta.
I remember that I close my hands and I say, stop, stop.
More than 20 punches thrown before Puerta tries to get away. King then pushing her before slamming her into a chair head first. Puerta blacking out.
He didn't stop. It was a moment that he said sorry, and I looked at him and he punched me, and after that, I don't know what happened.
In the video, King is seen throwing more punches. When he finally stops, Puerta, still in a daze, walks out the doors. More than 2 weeks later, you can still see her injuries. A black eye, a bruised arm, a swollen jaw, and broken rib.
He saw my eyes. He didn't care about me. He's so big. He's 200.
Surgery, according to charging documents. The alleged attacker is 23-year-old Juantez Tolas. The King County Prosecutor's Office says he's a danger to the community.
As you guys can see in the video, several of those videos, that a lot of these situations could be minimized or at least in part avoided with just a little bit of awareness. I do want to start off before we get into a little bit more of the the technical things, give you guys a little bit of some more facts. And I do want to say before I go into this as well, that I know that I do have guys in the room. This is for you as well. Don't think that it's not anything that a woman can do, a man can also do against another grown man. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, but this is, my training is very much so based, because I am a woman, right? So, men versus women's strength. Without regard for body size, weight, or composition, the average man tends to be considerably stronger than the average woman. Specifically, the absolute total body strength of women has been reported as being roughly 67% of that of men. In a study by the University of Utah, 20 men and 19 women participated with roughly uniform levels of fitness. Males' average power during a punching motion was 162% greater than that of the females, with the least powerful man still being stronger than the most powerful women. Physical assault is widespread among adults in the United States. 51.9% of surveyed women and 66.4% of surveyed men said that they were physically assaulted as a child and or as an adult by any type of attacker. And I do want to mention some self-defense laws here in Texas, because we are in Texas, and I think that's a big part of feeling comfortable doing these things and learning these things, is knowing that you do have your rights. In Texas, a person is justified in using force against another when, to the degree the individual reasonably believes the force is immediately necessary to protect the individual against the other's use or attempted use of unlawful force. Some of the things that we'll be working on today, again, I want to go back to my main point, is developing self-awareness. How can I help myself in avoiding being put in a potentially harmful situation? So, anybody in the room, you can say it out loud. What is something that you can do to avoid potentially being put into one of these situations? I have 3 German Shepherds at home, fully grown, and I cannot go anywhere without my German Shepherds. If I'm walking alone, I have my German Shepherds. It's another thing, if you have a dog, take your dog. Recommend a big dog, but you know, those little ones are a little feisty. Locking the car at gas stations and staying aware of your surroundings. This is a really big one, as you guys can see. I think there were 2 gas station videos in there. Gas stations can be in really sketchy, weird places. Avoid that gas station if you possibly can. But again, going back to watching what's happening around you. Always having some sort of weapon. We'll be talking about that today as well. This is my handy dandy fanny pack. Those of you guys who know me, see me wear this all the time. Now, if you guys look at my fanny pack, what do you guys see? There's a knife right there on my pocket. Fanny pack, another big reason is so that you're not carrying something on your shoulder, right? If somebody were to try to steal this from me, they're going to have to reach around. You know what I'm saying? And by that time, I have my knife in my hand. We won't be talking about guns today. This is a purely hand-to-hand conversation. Guns are a totally different style of teaching, totally different discussions. So today we're going to be only talking about hand-to-hand. Okay. So again, pepper spray. If you do have pepper spray, I recommend that you get used to using it. Practice, because in the moment you might be and you end up spraying yourself in the face, you know, etc. And then pepper spray spreads, right? You have to know how to use your tools before you're in that situation. Preparing before that situation. So if you do have pepper spray, I recommend that you try it in your backyard. Make sure, you know, maybe put a mask on prior to trying it out. This keychain right here, again, this is a non-lethal. It does have a blunt end. It's not very sharp, but you'd be surprised what kind of damage that I can do, or an individual can do in general with just this, right? Extremities, hitting pressure points. This against a opponent can do a lot of damage and can potentially save your life. Developing spatial awareness, a little bit of what we kind of talked about today. Don't put yourself in a place where harm can happen. Know who's coming in and out when possible. Always spot and exit. Always look around and spot off individuals to maintain distance. Diffuse the situation if possible. If you are in a situation where things could get out of hand, people are getting into an argument, threats are starting to be passed around. If you are in that situation, don't be the person that's like, hey, I took that self-defense class, I'm ready. Don't be that person. You know what I'm saying? Always avoid it if you can. I always tell my clients, no matter what situation that you're in, no matter how trained you are, you will get hurt. If you can avoid it completely. In a knife fight, you will get cut. In a fist fight, you will get hit. It's not pretty. Self-defense is not pretty. It's a matter of life and death, and I think there's a lot of just really terrible advice swirling out there, especially in the women's self-defense field, where it's like, yeah, you can take down this grown 6-foot man, and then, you know, it just doesn't work that way. So today, I really want to give you guys the tools to increase your chances of escape and survival if you were ever placed in one of these situations. It's going to come down to how well does your body know this stuff. How well does your body know this stuff? Because when you're in that situation where your body's in fight or flight, you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen in that situation. Nobody, even I cannot, the best martial arts in the world, the best military people in the world, the best people who are in combat situations cannot predict what's going to happen. No matter what, you're not going to know how it's going to run down. Right? So all that we can do is prepare ourselves the best that we can and teach our body through muscle memory how to move whenever we need it. We don't want to be in that situation having to think, right? Oh, well, here's this grown man about to attack me. Oh, what did that girl say in that self-defense class? We don't want to be that. We want to just react when we need it. So if you guys were watching that video, you guys saw a lot of these people just walked up, right? And then boom, here comes a punch, boom, here comes a strike. So in that case, you want to be able to, one, be self-aware, see them coming, know where they're coming from, maintain distance if you can, right? And if that is not an option, like one of the ladies was stuck in a train, to put something between you and that person. Again, have something on your person as far as a weapon if you can. You want to be able to just react when you need it. So if that punch were coming, your body just does it. Your body just does that motion upon not even thinking about it because you've trained it so much. So I do want to inspire you guys, once we do get into this training portion, that it's not going to just be this one class. Please don't be the person that says, I took a self-defense class and I know how to defend myself. I've been training again for over 19 years, and there are, you know, I see these videos, and it's like, we don't know what's going to happen. We can only be prepared. So being as prepared as you can through training, awareness, right? So with that being said, before I start to teach you guys these punches, I want you guys to know that this is not the end-all be-all. This is not what I would recommend first going through. But I do believe that everybody should know how to throw a decent punch. So that's where we're going to start. This is already setting us up to be in our stance. So again, hey, I don't want any problems. You know, I'm not looking to fight. If I can defuse the situation, I'm diffusing it. Boom, my hands are up. Now, why do you guys think I already have my hands up and I'm already slightly tilted? I'm already slightly turned away. It's a good one. To be prepared to move. What else? Anything?
More mobility.
That's right. More mobility. What else? Further distance, that's correct. I want to keep my extremities, my body away from my opponent. What else? One more thing I'm looking for. Smaller target. Smaller target, that's correct.
Moving target. Moving target.
Moving target, we'll end up moving. What else? I'm looking for one more thing. Why would I put my hands right here? Protection, that's right. So I'm already ready. If this person is going to strike me, if this person has a weapon, if this person is going to move towards me, I'm already placing my hands up, but in a non-menacing way. Because I'm not like, all right, let's fight, right? You know, I'm trying to diffuse the situation in a way where I'm setting myself up to be in my stance, but I'm trying to be as non-menacing as I can. I'm trying to diffuse the situation. So if this is a case where you see the person coming towards you, you can already start to create some space, you know, etc. But with that being said, that's typically how you would start in one of these situations if you can have those few seconds prior, if you can be aware of that person coming in before they get to you, right? All right, close my hands nice and tight. This is number one. You guys have to make sure that you close your hands properly. Wrap your thumbs around the top. Once we're in this position, I want to make a note, you are ready to fight. If you enter this stance, you are fighting. Okay? Do not square off with somebody if you are not ready to fight. Alright? Alright, so hands up nice and high. Very good. Okay, so we're going to do this first on the orthodox stance, and then we'll end up switching to the southpaw. That way we can work our left side. Cool? Alright, so we have our jab, which is called our lead hand straight punch. So anytime you guys hear me say jab, that's your lead hand straight punch. Lead means whatever side of your body that's more towards the front of the room, that's your lead hand. So I'm going to show you guys, and then you guys can kind of start to play around with it, and then I'm going to count out some reps for you guys to do. Everything that we're going to do today is about 20 times, okay? Hands are up nice and high. Watch here as I extend through my torso first. There's a slight rotation here, so if you want to start to move your torso here just to get into that rotation, this is where that power is going to come from. I'm also going to step a baby step as I throw this jab. If you want to leave the step out for now until you start to feel more comfortable, that's okay. So I'm going to show you the full jab, and I'm going to freeze upon extension. Now notice here, active rear leg, long in my torso, fist turns over, it's nice and tight. I'm aiming with my first 2 knuckles. That's really important. Look at your own hand. If you guys look at your fist, close your fist. What 2 knuckles are hanging off the side of your arm? Your pinky and your ring finger. You make contact with that pinky and that ring finger, they're broken. You want to use those first 2 knuckles as much as you possibly can, and avoid hitting that pinky. So again, let's go back to that jab. I want to show you one more time, and we're going to start to rep this out. Again, I extend through my torso, rotate that pinky up slightly to the sky, aim through my first 2 knuckles. I look down my arm as if I'm looking down the barrel of a shotgun. If you ever use a shotgun, you look down that barrel. Boom, nice and tight, shoulder to your cheek, knees bent, core tight, opposite arm is locked and loaded. This is really important. Keep that other hand high, because they're not just going to come with just one punch, right? It's multiple. Boom, boom, boom. Especially if this is a crazed person. They're going to be coming with all kinds of punches. You want to make sure that you're protected here. 1, 2, 3. I hate bugs. You know, I'm in martial arts, and I do all this cool stuff. Cockroach enters the room, I'm out. I'm screaming. It's done for, right? So squish the nasty bug underneath the ball of your foot, right? You're not going to squish a bug like this, are you? Right? You want to squish it down into the floor. That's the exact motion that you're going to do with your cross. Right? So the ball of the foot's going to squish down. I'm going to throw that hand just like I threw the jab, except it's coming on that rear side. Notice that locked and loaded hand on the lead. Turn over that hip. Bend in that knee. I'm nice and cushy. Twist. 10. Twist. 1, 2. Throw your shoulder. 3. Throw that body. 4. Twist. 5. That's it. 6. All right. On my count, we got 10. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Jab cross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guys, how you guys feeling? Y'all are good. Y'all are looking good. Taking the notes. Awesome. All right. So let's move on to our next punches. The hook is the hardest punch to learn. If you don't quite get it today, that is okay. Don't feel like you have to absorb all this. It's so much information. Don't feel like you have to absorb all this in one day. But the hook generally, so for example, I have one of my clients in here, Mr. Porfirio, with a blue shirt on. He's been training with me for probably like a year now, yeah. Still messes up on his hook. Over time, you know, your body learns it, and you don't even have to think about it. One of the things that I think is really cool that I've developed is that no matter what, no matter where I'm at, I'm standing, I can always find my stance. Right where my feet need to be, right where my body needs to be, right where my hands need to be. I don't gotta think about it. I don't gotta look. I don't have to have a mirror. I can feel that with time, right? And that's what we're developing. So let's get back in our stance. Hands up nice and high. Let's talk about these hooks. Again, if somebody came at you, like a couple of the guys in the video like this, what are they about to do? They're about to try to come smack you. So keep that in mind. You want to be unpredictable. You don't want your opponent to be able to see your strikes before they come, right? So how we're going to do this and develop power is we're going to end up turning it towards the side that we're going to throw the punch. So if I'm throwing with my left, I'm going to slightly turn in, just like that cross, right? So we turned our hips. I'm going to turn into that side, and I'm going to unwind my body now. So there's the wind up, here's the unwind. I'm going to make a right angle in my elbow. When I say right angle, 90 degrees. Boom. firm in that elbow. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, in line. Boom. When you're practicing this in the mirror, you can practice hitting yourself in the chin. Now notice I'm holding my thumb up. Now I don't literally mean hold your thumb up, but I mean the way that your fist is held is up, right? From here, again, notice the bend in my knees. The power has to come from the ground up. Remember, what's happening with punches is that you're coming into contact with a hard object, right? Whether that be a punching bag or an opponent. So there's going to be some force behind that, right? Some give back, right? So whenever you guys do this hook, it's very important that you have your legs behind it. Not only is it to develop the power, but it's also to give you a base to take on that pressure that's going to come from that opponent. All right, so hands up nice and high. Let's go back over it. Let's turn it to the left. Rotate, sit on your rear heel like you're going to do a squat. Lift your lead heel like you're squashing a bug. Rotate into that lead hook. Very nice. Good. 2, 1, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bend in your elbows here. On the hooks, bend those elbows. That's the most common mistake that I see in hooks, is that a lot of times it's like this, right? You see this? So we don't want to do that. That's how you break your elbow. You hit somebody wrong in the wrong place, boom, there goes that elbow. Hyperextended it. Done. Another weapon gone. Okay? So again, when we do these hooks, firm elbow. Put that elbow behind that punch. Yes? Alright, from here let's go into our last two punches, our uppercuts. We're going to perform these the same way we did the hooks with a slight load. So we're going to turn in left. Notice the slight dip that I did here. I got a little lower. If you see how my shoulders are diagonal, I'm setting myself up to rotate in and up. From here, there's a small circling of my shoulder. I'm going to wait till I'm almost all the way forward to let this uppercut go. That's very important to note. Again, we don't want to go like this, right? Okay. There's a big misconception that this and this is going to build a lot more power, and it does not. Face this hand, I start to dip, I rotate, boom. And again, rotate, dip. Y'all ready to put it together? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Nice. 4. That's it. 5. 3, 4, 5. So again, the punches that you just learned are not the best possible option, but I think it was a good way for us to get warm, get used to using our body here, and then also give you guys an idea of how to throw a good punch, because I think that it is valuable in itself. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm going to pull my partner Jeff up here. Okay, so again, he comes in, I take that step. Again, treat this as a strike. I'm trying to break that bicep down. Boom! Strike. And you should be trying to put that person's arm asleep with that one single strike. You want to, again, just like I told you guys, demolish the weapon. That's what we're trying to do here. We're not only trying to block, we're trying to dead arm that arm, make it useless, right? All right, so same thing, I'm doing my stance here. Jeff will come with a big hook, boom, strike. Notice here, I stepped into him. Again, if you guys notice with the first technique, I also stepped into him. I'm closing this distance. Shoot this arm across. Shoot, shoot. Close that fist tight. You're using that bony part of your forearm, that bony part of your forearm. So make sure that you're not like this, because that's the meaty part. It's not going to hurt as bad. This guy. Let's talk about the 3 W's. Wind goes, wind, wheels. In self-defense, you want to take out all 3, 2, 1, as best case scenario. And that's what we focus on with all of these techniques, is that we're wanting to take out its mean. Listen, this is not, again, we're not in the ring. We are, I'm going to break your knee. I'm going to kick your knee in. I'm going to hit you in the groin. I'm going to poke your eyes out. I'm going to break your throat. Okay? I'm going to be doing things to stop this person. You're not only grabbing their neck. It's like, hey buddy, what's up? We're not doing that, right? No, we are making this a strike. I can come boom, boom, then clench, or I can also just boom, come to the neck here. Now also notice my grip. I'm a palm to palm. I'm not using my thumbs. The thumb is a weak point. So if Jeff were to grab my wrist here, this right here, this is the weak point. This is the point where we want to come out. So that's the first part that's going to break. Now, I want to also mention that once somebody grabs you, whether that's your shirt, your hair, your wrist, whatever it is, bear hug, once this grip sets in, it's like cement. The longer it's there, the harder it locks in, the harder it gets. Something that ladies can do here is clasp those hands, that same grip, rotate it towards the thumb. We'll come back with the strikes, etc. Jess is going to come with that overhand strike. I'm going to come in with that strike. I'm going to clench, firm, squeeze the neck. I have my palm-to-palm grip. Now, wherever your head goes, your body goes. Right? Okay, so you're in full control of this. Boom, my knees. Boom. Okay, take me down to the ground here. Boom. I want you guys to do this firm, one arm at a time. Boom, boom. Strike, pull, squeeze your elbows together when you're trying to touch them. Boom. From here, knee, step back, knee. Now, if I were to do this in the air, I'm going to clasp, knee, step down, switch, knee, step down, switch. Again, you're pulling them towards that knee as well. I'm not just holding him. I'm pulling him towards that knee. The most important part about this is that clench. I see all y'all like, I don't know if I want to touch this person. It's okay. But hey, listen. There's no time for not wanting to touch that person in that situation. How you train is how you fight. So when I say do it with emphasis, do it like you're really about to fight. Do it like you're really in this situation. Again, you think that it's going to magically come out when you're in that situation? You're going to magically become a good martial artist, a good self-defense person in that situation, all of a sudden it's going to be perfect? No. How you practice is how it's going to be. Train for it. So let's talk about elbows for a second. So elbows, when you land these, you want to make sure that that whole part of your forearm, so if I have Porfirio up here, so I'm going to step in, I can throw this to the rib cage, okay? Again, with force, you will feel this, right? Again, you can go to the face. When I land this, I want to make sure, again, I'm making contact with not just the tip. I don't want to scrape, right? I don't want to just barely hit him. I'm talking my full elbow on this person's face. Okay, temple, jaw, nose, I can shoot this in, shoot this here, there's all kinds of elbows, over on top of the nose, etc. Right now we're just going to work horizontal elbows, sound good? Alright, cool. Alright, so go ahead and face yourself in the mirror, hands up nice and high. We're just going to practice this one in the air. Hands up, and we're going to cut our elbows across. Think about slicing. So again, hands up, I don't want any problems here. I'm going to slice my elbow across. My hand can just be nice and relaxed. You can hold your fist too, that's fine, but you can also relax your hand. You don't really have to do anything with that hand. From here, I'm going to slice across it down as if I'm aiming towards somebody's temple or jaw. Okay, touch hard, touch that elbow. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's talk about this kick. We have this on the lead side and the rear side. This can go to, so if I'm facing Porfirio here, this can go to the knee. I kick this knee in, it's going to go backwards, he's down. I kick his growing area, boom, that's another way against a male. Even a female, listen, y'all ever accidentally been hit? Listen, it's not fun, so either way, it can go to the stomach, it can go to the face. Okay? You have several different targets here. Now let's talk about the weapon that you're using. What part of your foot are you using? The ball of your foot. Now when you're first learning this, typically you'll have your shoes off, but it's good training with your shoes on because it's in real life, self-defense, probably gonna have some shoes on. If this person were to come in, step into me, okay, again, this is a good way to push this person back, maintain distance, right? So first move is rotate the hips. Get square. So when I say square, your shoulders are facing your opponent completely. Hips are facing your opponent completely. From here, I'm going to do what's called a chamber. I'm going to pick this knee up, pull my toes back. So I'm already setting myself up for that position, right? From here, I extend, place it on. Notice the small push through my hips, and that's what I was talking about earlier. My head's not close to him. I actually can scoot away. So now all my organs, my face, my arms, all of that I can keep away from him with just my foot, right? So if Porfirio were to come in, I'm gonna give you some pressure. Go ahead and come in, and go. Cool. And that's our TK, okay? So it's a good way to push somebody back and gain some distance. Let's take this in steps. Turn your hips, square off. Chamber the knee. I already started to put my hands up in a nice guard. From here, I extend through the hips, push forward, keep the door down. Nice, yes. Kick it back. There you go. Make some distance. Boom. Nice. Stay down. It's against a big man. Maybe he's drugged, maybe he's drunk. He's not going to feel these things. He has possibly already done this before. He knows how to do this. He's gotten away with it before. People who have attacked have most likely done this before. This is not their first time. So you gotta also keep that in mind. So this person is gonna come in with a big winding hook. I'm gonna step into my opponent and double arm block. Last time you guys just did one arm, right? This time I'm doing two. So now, not only can I break down this forearm, I can also break down his bicep. I'm gonna give Porfirio a nice good shot on his forearm, and I want him to tell you guys what he thinks. Go for it. I'm going to step in again with my rear leg, double hand block. I can go closed or open hands. If you do closed hands, you're already set up for those punches. Back of the head or the ear with my hammer fist. Go ahead and meet there. Nice. From here, top of or back of the head again with a forward hand hammer fist. If that throwing shot is enough, it's enough. If it's not enough, you keep on going, right? And then there's those tools. We worked on several different things today. We did elbows, we did clench with the knees, we did palm hails, we did our punches, we did our hooks, our uppercuts, we did a kick. You have all these tools in your arsenal now that you can use if you and when you need it. Let's see what you got. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So he gives me that hook. Boom. From here, I keep these fists closed. Backhand hammer. Forward hand hammer. So I'm not coming down with a punch like this. I'm actually going to go forearm on top. Again. And it's hit, hit, hit. Rolling. Boom, boom. It's just one after the other. Roll, roll. In the air. Down, down. Boom, knee. Push out.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
If you kick, they grab your leg. What do you do?
So you don't want to be put in that situation. This is a bad situation to be in. They grab your leg, but typically you're going to scoot in and start fighting off from here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, push off again. Okay. You don't want your kick to float. So a floating kick means it's out there long enough for him to catch it. He should not be able to catch my kick. Boom. Snap. So I would say that comes down to preparedness. But again, anything can happen. So that is a really good question. So if that does happen, get closer. Boom, wrap them up. Does anybody, I want to take this last bit of time here. I know we're going over, but does anybody else have any questions? Yes.
Yeah. So that first one that we showed where you threw the block from the.
Yes.
What if they like?
Bear hug you. Yeah. So if you were to grab me a bear hug this way, boom, this way. From here, I'm already on him as well. I already have my left. It's boom. I can just pull a knee up from there. Right? From there, again, you do it as many times as you need. Stomp his foot, growing, dead leg this knee, you're throwing knees. If your arms are trapped, you can't do anything with your arms, you better use your feet. Any other questions?